Hey sketchy friends, and welcome to this video. I just wanted to take a few minutes today and show you my trip to Stellenbosch in South Africa, pretty near to Cape Town and South Africa's oldest town, and home to the very prestigious Stellenbosch University. So I was very lucky to get an invite from one of the sketchers down at Urban Sketches Stellenbosch to come and stay at their lovely B&B, and that they would show me around the town, and yeah, I'd get to go and sketch with some of the members of the Urban Sketches Stellenbosch chapter, as well as the Urban Sketches Cape Town chapter. So very, very lucky and very grateful to Elisma. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was such a brilliant week. First sketch then, we went to a cafe called Yaya Cafe. I was sat facing the kitchen with this beautiful big wood fire pizza oven, nice kind of copper, beautiful copper color. Just trying to get in my people sketching practice a little bit, trying to tell a story, and just trying to break myself out of my comfort zone of just kind of sketching buildings and stuff. So it was really, really nice. Even though I'm working in an A4 book here, this is the Hahnemühle watercolor sketchbook, not the 100% cotton one, the normal one. I still find myself sometimes sectioning off A5 frames just because that is the size that I am used to. It was really nice. We each swapped to a different side of the table, so we got a different view, but I didn't actually get a chance to kind of finish this. So, and that's fine, you know, sketchbooks are just for messing around. It doesn't matter if you don't finish all of your sketches. It's just good fun anyway. So I had a really nice morning with the sketchers there, sitting at the cafe. And then a few of us went over to sketch, I believe, one of the oldest buildings in Stellenbosch, and certainly the oldest for the University of Stellenbosch, is the Faculty of Theology building. Absolutely beautiful building. I knew I didn't have a lot of time, maybe an hour, so I really just wanted to focus on this central part of the building. The kind of side aspects weren't so interesting to me, but there was some beautiful symmetry going on, and there were actually two really tall palm trees here, which on reflection might have been cool to put in, but it might have kind of ruined the power of the white space that's going on here. I just really love how graphic this is. And I didn't get to finish the painting side of things on location. I just did the drawing. Then I had time to paint it later on. But I was really happy with kind of the design decisions here. I do feel like, yeah, design-wise, this works really nicely. It has a lot of visual impact on the page. And this is where I really enjoyed having this big A4 sketchbook as well. I would just like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I've been a member of Skillshare for many years, on and off actually. I would like to point out one of these classes. I've taken multiple classes obviously, but this one by Mr. Ali Abdal, big fan, on Notion, for example. I actually used a lot of this information to plan and keep myself on track whilst writing my book, The Beginner's Guide to Urban Sketching, which is out now, available to buy. There are so many useful courses on Skillshare, such as this one, Finding Your Style, Your Creative Style by Andy J. Pizza. It's a really fun course. I really enjoyed this one as well. And there's just so many different categories, so you can learn things about becoming more confident, which I probably need, drawing, vlogging, logo design, through to things like even learning music fundamentals as well. So lots to explore. You can unlock achievements as you go along, and you can even get a certificate of completion as well for the different classes that you take, which is quite nice. There are also things called learning paths, which are curated collections of classes designed to take you from beginner level through to more advanced. So here we go. Here's my man again, Ali Abdal, taking you through all of his steps of productivity. I don't think I'm ever going to be as productive as this guy, but definitely taking some of his classes has changed a few little habits of mine, which are helping me for sure. So click on my special link in the description below, because the first 500 people that do so will get 1 month free of Skillshare. So that was Friday then. Moving on to Saturday, a lot of members of Cape Town came up to Stellenbosch to join us, and we sat in front of this building, which is the Law Building. They're going to laugh at my pronunciation here. Oh, Hoefgebouw? I don't think I said that right at all. Anyway, but yeah, I just did, I mean, not that anyone there really needed it, but I just did a quick little demo on how I think about drawing buildings. And also, especially when you're a beginner, but at any time, but especially when you're a beginner, it's fine just to put yourself slap bang in front of a building like this and just draw it. I feel like sometimes beginners make life really, really hard for themselves by sitting at weird angles, when actually it's perfectly valid to sit right in front of the building, just slap it in the middle of the page and just draw what's there. That's absolutely fine. You can do that. I know it breaks rules of competition and all that, but when we're just learning to sketch what's in front of us, I think you have to make some easier decisions for yourself to start off with. So anyway, all that's to say is that I was just showing how I look at the building when I'm looking at it. So it's a big rectangle, and the top floor and the bottom floor in this case were the same height. And then I could see that there were kind of equal divisions, vertical divisions, fifths, quite a shallow triangle on the top. Always good to have a sort of center line in, not necessarily drawn in ink, but just maybe in pencil or even just in your mind, just to see where the middle of the building is, because it's quite a symmetrical scene, and so on and so forth. So, I think of the building like this, then I might go on to draw something like this, which then kind of ends up something like this. And also, if you are drawing inside of a frame, I'm a really big fan of breaking out of the frame as well. And I really like this crosswalk in front of the building. It creates some nice leading lines to look into the scene. So that's what we were talking about. But I'd done this scene. So whilst lots of people were drawing it like this, which was really, really cool, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do something different. And actually, I just really loved this gnarly tree in front of the building, and that was like really attracting me. I really wanted to draw that. And I was also enjoying some of the shadows and stuff. And I was like, quite often I can run out of time to really pay attention to stuff like that. So wouldn't it be cool just to focus on this tree, and then also a portion of the building that's behind the tree that includes the shadows. So I really actually love how this sketch came out. It's proved to be quite a popular one. So I'm thinking of doing a demonstration of this on my private membership, which is called Pretty Sketchy TV. You should join now. So I think I'll do a tutorial on that over there. So do come and join us over there if you would like more in-depth tutorials on all aspects of travel and urban sketching. So that was the first part of Saturday. We had quite a productive day on Saturday. This was the second part. So beautiful building, the Bloemhof School, which I think was used as a primary school, but now is, I think, an art gallery, but I didn't actually go in, but I think it is an art gallery now. So again, I didn't draw the whole building, and that's okay. I really just loved this kind of architectural detail here, and I really liked the front door. So yeah, drawing portions of buildings is totally okay. You can do that. There's no rules. I very much see this as, a blend between travel sketching and urban sketching. I know it can be confusing with the terms, and there are sort of things that are urban sketches and not urban sketches, but if we just forget all that and I just think of it as like travel sketching or whatever, I'm still sketching on location. But I really enjoy like collaging bits of buildings together, so it's really fun. And by the way, if you're wondering what this amazing effect is here, or what this color is, it's Daniel Smith Moonglow, my favorite. Love it. It just, the pigment separates out like this, it granulates. It's beautiful for window panes, it's beautiful for roofs. I mean, it really just came out so beautifully there. I love it. And then this one I actually did later on. This was directly opposite this building, but I did actually do this from a photo just because I was filling up the page, and here I was like focusing in on this metal work, but I didn't really finish it. We don't always get to do everything we want to on location, but I just had this scene and I just really wanted to sketch it. So I really like how that came out. But yeah, all in all, an amazing day with Urban Sketches, Cape Town and Stellenbosch. So that was the Saturday. On the Sunday, we went to Cape Town, so about half an hour drive if there's no traffic. So we went on Sunday morning to deliberately try and avoid the traffic. And we were at this Oranjezicht City Farm Market. This is my friend Sodam from Cape Town Urban Sketches. And she was sat in front of me. And then I kind of had this whole market behind her. And this is definitely a scene that's out of my comfort zone. But I love this. I think this is probably my favourite sketch from the entire trip, even though I gave Sodam weird alien hands. And then I have the coffee stand in the background. Again, use the moon glow just as kind of a ambient thing in the background. And I just like the shape that this is making on the page. And I will be honest, I was actually looking at Tom Hatchelhauser's work before I went out that morning, Captain Tom on Instagram, one of my very favourite sketches. And I really love how he makes shapes on the page, and he'll go from a lot of volume of sketch here and he'll just trail it off. So if any of you are familiar with his work, I think you'll see that that's what I was going for here. And I just think it's really impactful and really, really interesting. So I was very happy with that sketch. And then in the afternoon, we went to the V&A waterfront, which if any of you've been to Cape Town, you've probably all been there. Didn't get to finish this, but I was just focusing in on this clock tower, which is a very iconic building in the waterfront. And I quite like the suggestion of the buildings in the background there. There's not sort of any shadows on here, so it's kind of lacking a bit of depth, but that's what I managed to get done in the time. I'll come back to that one in a minute. This was the following day, so this would have been on the Monday. We went to a wine farm because, if you're in Stellenbosch or the Western Cape, you obviously have to go to multiple wine farms. So this one is Lawrenceford, and I didn't realise, but after the fact, Duncan, my husband, did tell me I have been there before, which, I didn't realise. So I started off with this face here because they've got these beautiful sculptures all over the place, but I really liked these faces. This took me quite a long time to draw because I just couldn't get the face right how I wanted it to be, but I was reasonably happy with that in the end. And then there's this beautiful building with this Cape Dutch style front here with this kind of sculpture of this guy, of this male body in the front, in the foreground. So yeah, spent some time doing that. Yes, this is moon glow again. This was actually kind of the key factor of my trip, I think, was this moon glow paint. I'd got a tube just before I left and I just seemed to use it on everything, and I really like it. So I did that, and then we went for some lunch, and then I decided I would like to do the wine tasting, which was actually wine and chocolate, red wine and chocolate pairing, which I thought was really interesting. Again, apparently I've already done this, Duncan informed me, but my memory is not the best. I obviously didn't sketch it, otherwise I would have remembered. What I did here was I just dipped my finger in the wine after I'd tasted it, just the last little bit of it, and put my finger down and tried to get the wine on the page that way, put the name of the wine, drew a little frame around it, and then stuck the wrapper of the chocolate that I tasted along with it next to it. So yeah, I think that's a really fun way to record a wine tasting. But look how beautifully this red wine granulates. I'm a big fan. It's beautiful. It's not too far off the moon glow. And then there's these beautiful statues or these sculptures by a sculpture artist called Dylan Lewis, who Alisma highlighted to me. And she actually has a book of some of his preparatory sketches. You know what I mean. And it's an absolutely beautiful book. I actually really want to try and find it and buy it. But yeah, he has these beautiful cheetah statues in the grounds of the wine cellar, and this was kind of the front entrance to the wine cellar. So I think as a spread, this tells a really nice story of the day, and I'm really, really happy with this. So that was Monday. And then Tuesday, we went to a town called Franschhoek, which I have been to before. They've got a wonderful thing there called the wine tram, which I took my parents on, and I swear to God, we have never laughed so much. Me, Duncan, and my parents got really drunk and laughed a lot, and it was really fun. So if you're ever in Franschhoek, do hop on the wine tram and go wine tasting from farm to farm. It's really, really fun. And so this is actually the Dutch Reformed Church in Franschhoek, built in 1847. It was quite a cold day, actually. After about 2 hours, all of us were just too cold to continue sketching. But it was really stormy and misty, and the mountains are in the background of this very white building. It's like super dramatic. So I was being very heavy-handed with my paint here and the foliage and letting it sort of seep into each other. And you've got this nice bell here. And then Rudy, one of the sketchers, told me about this thing called a smoke altar. The sign was written in Afrikaans, but he translated for me that they used to put a fire on top of here to make lots of smoke, to let people know living far away in the valleys and stuff that there was a priest or a pastor in the church. So if they wanted to come to church, then they could do so. So I thought that was really interesting. So I wanted to get that in as well. But again, really love this. Love the drama of like it being a big A4 double spread. So A3 basically. I think it's really just so much more dynamic than if this had been an A5 size, I think. There are pros and cons to the A4 size. I'll mention that in a minute. And then I think I started this on maybe the Tuesday evening. And then, yeah, I did it in stages. But this was the B&B unit that I was staying in at Liesma's place. So I had my own sort of studio apartment, which was really, really nice. Little kitchenette over here and these beautiful chairs. Bathroom through here. Bed is over here. And this balcony faces Table Mountain in the distance. And there was always beautiful, beautiful sunsets. So we'd come and sit on the balcony and drink some wine and watch the sun go down. Absolutely spectacular. So I'm really happy with how this sketch came out. I think it's really, really cool. And if you're ever in Stellenbosch and you need somewhere to stay, check out Liesma's place, which is called the Herberg. So it was just really, really fantastic. So I think that's it. Oh, I'll hop back. Wednesday was the last day and the weather was absolutely horrific. So we went and sat in Yaya Cafe again. But by the time we'd all traded sketchbooks and told stories and done everything, I didn't get much sketching done. So that was all I did on the Wednesday. But all in all, it was just such an amazing trip, and I'm really grateful to Liesma from Urban Sketches Stellenbosch. I'm also really grateful to all of the members of the Urban Sketches Stellenbosch and Cape Town for making me feel so, so welcome and so, so good to sketch alongside you guys. Absolutely beautiful area to go sketching. So if you're ever in South Africa, make sure that you do take a trip to Stellenbosch and the surrounding winelands area, especially if you're a wine fan. And I hope you've enjoyed looking at these sketches. So just a quick note on the A4 versus A5 issue. I don't often use an A4 book. I usually use a much smaller book, an A5. And whilst I did really love the A4 size to do big kind of travel spreads like this and to make big dramatic sketches, I did feel like I couldn't be quite as inconspicuous as I would like. And I certainly didn't feel like I could get my sketchbook out on the plane. It was quite very, very round, very, very small space. I do usually like to sketch on planes, but trying to get this A4 book out on a budget airline with very, very small amount of space wasn't going to happen. So for that reason, I would prefer an A5 book, but I am definitely drawn to the fact that you can do these big, big dynamic and dramatic sketches in the A4 book. So, you know, again, there's no right or wrong answer, but that's what I've found is that if I'm trying to be inconspicuous and I want to draw people and just kind of fly under the radar, definitely the smaller size. But if I'm out travel sketching and I've got all the space and I don't really mind what people seeing what I'm doing and I want to do big dynamic dramatic sketches, then I would go for the A4. I hope that helps.